Dave Melvin of Salesforce, it's great to see you. Thanks for joining us at Defense Talks today. How can DoD become more nimble, more innovative, as the speakers here are talking about?
Great question. Thank you for having me. I think, it's about the approach, right? And what we've seen is traditionally DoD does waterfall, right? And waterfall, even though we're saying we're going to move and adopt an agile approach, they truly haven't. And so there's a couple of things there. One, I think a lot to do with policy through the acquisition process. So for example, BCAC, which is a policy in which you have to follow in order to meet different authorities to proceed and so forth. There's so much documentation that actually hinders your ability to do agile development. And then I think part of it is reorganizing. You can't put someone who is doing something differently and then just teach them and say, hey, here's agile, and learn it and then deploy it. And then lastly, I would say is BPR, right? Just because processes are the way they are, you got to be willing to do business process reengineering, okay? Adopting technologies. I want to say, not say out of the box, but at least understand and not try to morph those technologies into government-specific processes, which then becomes customization and leads to long sustainment tails, and you never roll the capability out.
One component of that agility that the department has used and that other federal agencies have used is DevSecOps. What do you think further will drive that kind of agility, make the department a better buyer, consumer of software?
Well, you mentioned DevSecOps. For that, just one comment on that is, if you think of it, DevSecOps says you create this pipeline, right? And sometimes what happens is organizations, they follow the policy. I think it's 8500. I think .37, and it says, hey, I have a pipeline, and then they're going to vet what priorities are. But if you pick a top priority that's going to take you 24, 36 months, all those other priorities fall behind. So to become more nimble, I think you have to have the flexibility and a big enough pipeline to support all your initiatives within that organization. So I think it's organizationally changing. When you think of buying software, I think right now, DoD is pretty hung up on infrastructure as a service. That's what we're saying. The company I come from, Salesforce, we're a platform in SaaS. And if you look at the overall DoD cloud policy, it's this JWCC. It's really geared towards all of the IS, and where we would fit is not a general purpose, but a fit for purpose cloud. So I think at first they were a SaaS first, and then infrastructure last. They never really adopted it. Now they're going infrastructure first, SaaS last. I think you should look at that because I think there's a lot of cost savings. And then you're putting more in through the commercial providers. We're good, right, at cybersecurity. We're actually pretty great at it, right? And so it's a partnership, I think. And then from buying a software, I think, what I see is, well, you're expensive. What do you mean you're expensive? Well, because you're only looking at the cost per user. You're not looking at all those other costs. What's it cost to manage that infrastructure? What's that cost to bring in a systems integrator to do all the managing of the patching? Because we're doing all that for you from a SaaS perspective, right? So I think you got to look at the total cost when you're doing a cost-benefit analysis or an ROI versus, hey, I'm paying this for license A and this for license B. It's not the same. And then understanding what an enterprise license agreement. I get that question asked to me, hey, can we do an enterprise license agreement? Well, what do you need? Well, we don't know. So it's not, sometimes enterprise license agreement do give you cost savings, but they also give you a lot more flexibility. So understanding that, partnering sooner, and getting educated on what those are and how we're licensed, for example, or company A is something they can do better at.
Dave, it's great to talk to you. Thanks for joining me today.
Awesome. Thanks.